now.
Mike. All right, we're gonna get the show on the road, guys, because this is all about fun tonight. Nothing, too technical or a speaker that you may or may not be interested in. What this night is about is Gadget Night. It's our last time together before the banquet coming up in January. I couldn't decide which tool I liked best. I think maybe this one. So let's go right into the agenda tonight. First, obviously, welcome everybody. Thanks again for coming out to this venue. I know it was different and I hope it wasn't too challenging to find or to park. Tonight, we're gonna cover the banquet. We're gonna go right into the logo contest, which I've talked about at all the program meetings. So why stop now? I'll give one more reminder. We've got about a month for all of you to submit your cool ideas for a new logo. The slides are actually printed over on this side for just some ideas. I have received I think two more coming. Don't be shy about asking if we need to have a graphic designer help out because that was also promised. Yeah, we're more than happy to work with you. We're just looking for some really cool, innovative ideas for our new logo, for our new look, and our new adventure ahead. We're also going to do the slate of candidates tonight so you guys can see all who is interested in running. So that'll be coming up pretty quickly. Tonight, per our bylaws, we're actually going to take nominations from the floor. So what that means, if there's somebody not on the slate and they are, properly vetted and actually want to run, they will be part of the election. So if you're thinking of somebody tonight, make sure you're ready to shout out their name. Will be nominations from the floor. Did I say that? Then we're going to get right into member gadget sharing. So right off the bat, let's get into the good stuff. Mike, are you ready? Mike's going to tell us all about the banquet.
Ready. All right, good evening. I'm still kind of focused on how we're accepting nominations from the floor. Can you repeat that? There were two methods. We could shout out their name or, okay, the banquet. Yeah. So we heard you. We listen. We read every comment from every single survey we have from last year's banquet, and there were two predominant themes. The Handlery is a totally awesome venue, but could we please go somewhere a little bit nicer? Can we get a little bit better food? Okay, three themes. And can we do it for cheaper? So totally easy objectives: nicer, better food, and don't make it cost so much. So thanks to the incredible generosity, as you all have probably heard, of the amazing Scott Chalmers, we have a very nice endowment. So we are choosing to invest some of that in our membership. We're going to have the banquet at a stunning venue. It's going to be the Hyatt Regency in Mission Bay. Gorgeous place. It's actually going to be lit up even better than that when we're there. Okay, not really, but it's a gorgeous banquet facility that we're going to be in. We're working on the menu now. Details will be coming out soon. Please save the date. It's going to be on January 11th. Cocktail hour starts at 5, banquet starts at 6. We'll be doing the usual thing. This is our annual meeting, so we will conduct a business meeting. Usually we allow you to eat during that. So I know you're going to be riveted on everything our president has to say, the treasurer has to say, but you'll also be eating all the delicious food. We're going to have an incredible speaker there. We're going to have Adam Block. Who here from a round of applause has heard of Adam Block? A few of you are raising hands. How many of you have ever heard of the astrophoto of the day as publicized by NASA? Okay, everyone's heard of NASA, right? Let's start there. You've heard of NASA. You've heard of the astrophoto of the day. If you haven't heard of Adam Block, please Google his name. He has won over 100 astrophotograph awards. People all over the world submit their best astrophotos every day to them, and they pick one. So for one guy to win it over 100 times is incredible. I have applied hundreds of times, and between an Adam Block and myself together, we have 100 awards. So we've done really well, him and I, in this partnership. He's going to be talking not about how to make astrophotos. This is not a PixInsight lecture. This is not a Photoshop lecture. We're not even going to say the word P in there. This is going to be more focused on the aesthetic of art and the beauty of our night sky. This is not going to be a hardcore science night for you. Some of you may love that. Some of you may be thinking, thank God, I could hardly understand what they're talking about. Okay, that was me. But it is going to be a wonderful evening. The title, I keep screwing it up, Ancient Echoes of a Forgotten Sky, Forgotten Echoes of an Ancient Sky. Forgotten Skies of an Ancient, I don't know, something like that. But it's going to be a tremendous presentation from an absolutely incredible imager. So that'll be great. We'll be having an auction and a raffle. And the ticket price, the most important thing. Anybody remember what the price was last year? Is it too much? $85 a head. And honestly, we don't make a dime on the tickets. That is at our cost to you. By the time we're done with tax and tips and all that, that is our cost to you. This next year was going to be over $100. We knew that was a pressure point. This year, we're subsidizing the tickets. They're going to be $65 a head. So yeah, ooh, I like the ooh, that's good. So we wanted to bring the price down, better food, better venue. So there is no such thing as a free lunch. Okay, really, there's no free banquet dinner either, but at least we were able to keep the price under control for you. So I'm super excited for that. We're going to have a really fun event at the beginning. When you sign up for your tickets, you're going to be offered the opportunity to have your name drawn. We're going to have a game show at the beginning. I promise it won't take too long, but we're going to test your SDAA knowledge. So if you're interested, you'll be able to check a little box on the application. There will be cash prizes. So no, sorry, Gracie, board members can't play. I know. But drop your name in the hat and start studying up. It's going to be quick. It's going to be tricky, but it'll be good. Is there anything I left out about the banquet? We said when, where, how much. Food, there will be. Hopefully better. Time, cocktail starts at 6. Cocktail start at 5. Program starts at 6. Adam will probably get on stage around 7. Oh yeah, we're doing an auction and raffle. Yes. What's that? When do tickets go on sale? As soon as we can spit them out on Wild Apricot.
Can we buy nice stuff from our rich uncle to give away in the raffle? Put it
I'm
that way.
always open to ideas. We have a budget, but we can certainly discuss it and see, depending on what the ideas are. Yeah, just talk to me later. Anything else? No other questions? Parking, street parking is free, and I'm told it's plentiful at night. It's right alongside Mission Bay. There is valet parking for cost. And if you want to self-park on the site, you can do that at a cost too. We'll have all that info for you. Other questions from the floor? Yes, sir. Will there be discounts for rooms? That's an outstanding question. I was just there this week talking to him. The answer is yes, and I need to find out the details of it. There will be, if you want to make a staycation of it. It's an awesome venue. It'd be beautiful. Any other questions? Okay, I think I went over my 2-minute allotment. I'm sorry.
Thank
All
you,
done?
Mike.
Sure.
Don't go too far, though. All right, let's talk about the logo contest. Same slides you've seen every month. These are our logos, and they're pretty cool. You guys have seen these. They're on some of our merchandise. They were on the signs tonight as you were driving in. They're awesome logos, but we're looking for something a little different. Look what we're in competition with. These are just random from astronomy clubs online. I think these are awesome. And some of the ones that members have submitted already for just ideas look like this. I think this is going to be a really fun time to change sort of the look and maybe highlight things about our club that pertain to San Diego in general, you know, kind of mixing in some of those elements to make it special just for us. As you see here, if you're interested, and these instructions are also over on the table, send me your design to vicepresident@sdaa.org. If you need help with a graphic designer, we'll work it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just looking for some innovative ideas from you, the members who make up this awesome club. Also, proposed uses may be for our SDA letterheads, stickers, and maybe even some patches. But we're asking that you submit the design by the end of the year, just so that we have some time if we need a graphic designer. Originally, I did say that we would announce some of the winning ones at the banquet, but as you see from the slide, that's coming up really quick. I think we're just going to provide a little more time for people to send in their designs for the board, also to kind of, you know, see what we need as far as graphic design work. So hopefully a lot of you are interested in sending some ideas for stickers. Okay, let's keep moving along. Where are Mark Smith and Dorothy Wood? You guys stand up for a round of applause. You guys, this was your nomination committee. Thank you. Thank you. Many, many late nights when you're part of these committees, stuff we haven't dealt with before with our new bylaws. This was a lot of work. And Mark, thank you always for your spreadsheets that are interactive. That was amazing to keep track of things. So thank you guys for your efforts. It was really appreciated. Thanks. Okay, do we have a drum roll? You know, here is the slate of the candidates for next year. officers run for a 2-year term. Some of the positions carry, that includes mine and Dave Wood back there, recording secretary. In 1 year, those seats will be open, vice president and recording secretary. This year, 3 of the 5 officers, again, 2-year terms, are for president, treasurer, and recording secretary. Those are your candidates running. On the right are the directors. And it was really cool to see all these directors. I'm sure you see a lot of familiar names, but we're super excited about the interest in this. And Mike, can I bother you again for some information about how this is all going to work? Tonight we'll take, again, nominations from the floor, but if maybe you could talk about election buddy.
Absolutely. And I'm going to close with what I forgot to say about the banquet, but I'm going to tease you with this first. Okay, so hopefully you got to vote on the bylaws through Election Buddy. You got an email. Hopefully it didn't end up in your spam. I think we warned you ahead of time. We'll do that again. You're going to get another email on Saturday about 7:30 at night, and it's going to have this information on it, and you'll be able to vote with that. For the positions where there are the just one candidates for Dave Deckers and my own, you'll have the opportunity for a write-in, so that is fine. You can abstain, you'll have that choice as well. If you write in a candidate, you want to put in Daffy Duck, we all appreciate a good laugh, that's great. If you're going to name another club member, that's good. Remember, they have to consent, they have to be a member in good standing and all that. So if you have that idea, maybe check with them first if you feel like you want to do that. We also have the software set up, so where there are competitions, we have the right number of seats open. So there are only 4 director seats open, and the software will limit you on how to do that. The vote will be open for 1 week, so it's going to close on Friday at 7:30. In the evening, we'll get the results out as fast as we can. Any election buddy questions? Correct. It is not ranked voting. You'll get to pick up to 4. And I'll mention too, even hit the little checkbox on it. They'll be randomized. So whatever order you see them in is not necessarily the order anyone else is. So no one has an advantage. And that question reminded me of the other one. I'll get to the other hand in a moment. Under each one, there will be a click PDF to see their bio. Just about everybody submitted some sort of candidate statement. So please take time to read through what the folks took the time to write and tell you about. And I believe we're also going to put that out through Wild Apricot as well. No, we're not posting on our website because some people chose to include their personal information, which is great, but our website is public facing. There's no member protected portion of it, so we didn't feel completely comfortable with that. But you'll have it 2 places, Election Buddy and again through Wild Apricot. If you're not getting Wild Apricot emails, please let me know and I'll do my best to help you with that. There was another question in the back. Yes. So it's going to open this Saturday, which is the 23rd, and it'll close that Friday, which I will believe you is the 29th. Right, you'll still be in turkey coma, so. And you'll get at least 3 nag emails, but you only get the nags if you don't vote. But it will continue to haunt you at least 3 times. Yes, sir. What do recording secretary and directors do? Yes. You're not interested in what the treasurer and president do. It's such fascinating. We're actually here. We'd love to persuade others. Believe me, I would be excited to train a new treasurer. The recording secretary has an important role as one of the officers. They are present at the board meetings. They take the minutes. They then circulate it among the boards and make sure they got the minutes correct. So that is important. They typically are also the ones signing contracts that we had to amend our bylaws and articles of incorporation. As the secretary, they are the ones who submit those signed documents to the state and to the feds. So that's what they're doing. The directors help provide other input. They round it out between the 5 officers. We have a total of 9 members of the board. That's 4 directors. So we want other people's ideas to represent a more diverse part of our membership body. So we need some extra people there. They don't always have a specific duty or a portfolio, but they take on other roles. So that's a great opportunity for them to chair other committees and help bring other viewpoints to the board. But no formal duties is assigned. Other than the donuts and the coffee, right? They're responsible for that. No, kidding about that part. Okay, especially since we're virtual. Yes, sir. So yes, this will be a weighted vote. So that's a good question. So if it's just you as a member, you'll get 1 vote. If it's you and a family member, you'll get 2 votes. The voting will close, the recording date for who gets to vote closes at the beginning of this meeting. So if your plan is, if you're Well, I won't say the names. Okay, I'm not going to pick on them. But if you were clever, I suppose you could sign up quickly 500 family members. But no, we're not really going to allow that. So the voting will be locked. It's members who are in good standing, not more than 60 days delinquent in their dues, and there will be a weighted vote. Did that answer your question? Okay, good. What else? The weighted vote means you get more ballots depending on how many people in your household you've signed up as family members. Right. Family members count. And we trust it to the individuals because we don't have email addresses or phone numbers for every family member. We don't have a way to send them their each ballot. If they're your family members, then yes, you should persuade them. Twist their arm. Who do you want? Yes. Other questions? Yes.
Would there be like pictures of everybody or like their little statement or something? Because I don't know who a lot of the people are, but I might know them by sight.
So most of the candidates chose to include a photo with their bio that will be available. My face will be there. Sorry. I always make the joke, it looks like the one in the post office, but they don't do that anymore. So that joke is old. Any other questions? YouTube? Yeah, you can Google them. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to transition quickly back for 1 minute for the banquet. A key part of our auction is items that are in your house that you are not using. Okay, there's a bunch of club members here. How many of you are bored spouses, family members, friends who got dragged because you heard there would be free food here? Okay, maybe you don't want to admit it. If you're looking around your living room, the attic, the basement, and you see a bunch of astronomy gear, the astronomy club wants it because we will clear out your house for you and we will resell it to someone else who also probably has too much of this stuff in their house already, but they want more. So in all seriousness, as we wind down the year, you're looking for a tax deduction. You guys write it off for as much as you want. We don't care. That's not our problem, but we do want your stuff because that is a critical part of how we do the auction. So that will also be getting out there. So if you're looking around the house going, I'm really not using this piece of gear, I'd love to turn it in and then have the chance to buy something else, we definitely want to hear from you. But not in my house. I've already been banned. I can't put any more in the garage. Okay, any more questions on any of that? What's that? Dave Decker's been banned from donating or purchasing? Okay. I think we've identified the significant other who is here with them. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thanks, Mike. With that, let's take nominations from the floor. Does anybody have a candidate in mind that is not listed on our slate? Now's the time. Candidates from the floor, including Zoom. Behave. No candidates? Is everybody looking around to make sure? Nothing, Dave? Okay, let's close it out and get into gadgets. You guys ready? Priscilla? I didn't put these in any particular order. It was just as they came in. So let's just free for all this. Let me know how you need help. We had a lot of people calling sick, unfortunately. There's a lot going around. So Gracie, think you had the great idea to do little quizzes for stickers in between the gadgets, which I love. So we're going to be doing that too.
I'm good. Huh. No one's ever given me a microphone. I'm pretty loud. So hi. Okay. So I kind of have a theme for my gadgets, which is like, you might have some stuff, or maybe you have kids or family members that are like, oh, I kind of am curious about astronomy, but I don't want to get a bunch of gear. Well, I think a lot of us may have stuff laying around that you may not think can be used for astronomy, but it can. So that's kind of my theme. So I want to start with something. Okay. You might think, yes, it is a Polaroid camera. And you think, well, it's a new one, okay, but it's the same old technology. But well, except that I mean, the thing still pops out, like, but it does charge, so there's no batteries. But other than that, it's pretty basic. So you would go, okay, like, how could I use that to take pictures of the sky? I have proof. Okay. So put it on a tripod and it has like a basic, right? And if it's on a tripod, you can keep the shutter open for 60 minutes. And I got a picture of the comet. And you might not be able to see it from way back there, but if you have questions after the meeting, I would be very happy to show it to you, because like a Polaroid could get a picture of a comet. And like I showed my nephews and stuff, and it's just cool to be able to have a tool that is very accessible. Anyone can put this on a tripod and you can get a picture of a comet. I only kept the shutter open for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Oh, minutes. Yes, it's a Polaroid. So yeah, you have to put it on a tripod and yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, sure. Yes, don't lose it. It's evidence. Okay. Okay. Yeah. See? See? Okay. All right. Okay. So something else that I wanted to show, because it's starting to get cold out there. Oh yeah. And I don't know if any of you have, well, I don't have like an observatory. I don't even have a backyard. So if I'm going to be out late I have frozen my butt off at TDS for a lot of times. And these are very amazing. What these are, they are electric socks, you guys. Your feet will never be cold again. Okay, so super cool. You charge this thing, and then there's wires that go in the sock, and it stays warm all night, and your feet are cold. I've found that if your feet stay warm, you stay warm. Like oh, and I have like hand warmers too, because I've had it where my hands are so cold that I can't like screw any, like I can't change an eyepiece out, you know? So yes, electric socks. Yes, it's very cool. Okay. All right. Oh, they're like $20 on Amazon. I mean, they're probably, hopefully they don't explode like some technology lately. I won't talk about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't buy them from Israel, but because the pagers. Okay. Just a joke. Okay. Sorry. Not being political. Okay. It was funny. Okay. All right. Okay. Now this GoPro. Okay. So if I don't know, GoPros seem to me to be like, if you're like, oh, surfer dude, but it's more than that. It is really cool because you can set it and forget it. So sometimes, like if I'm going to be somewhere, you can just set it up and then it just records really cool stuff. So I have examples because, again, I like evidence. So because like, sorry, come on, recognize my face. Okay, sorry, it's not listening. I'm sorry. It doesn't, I mean, hey, can't change it. Okay. Okay. All right. So this first video I want to show, because I don't know if you guys can see it, but so I'm pretty new to this hobby. And so the first thing that I borrowed from Paul's very cool program was I'm going to press play. Oh, I think you guys can hear me. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Ugh. Okay. So the first thing I borrowed was, it was an Ioptron tracker, and it had to be aligned on Polaris. And I didn't understand why, because it was just, I was like, what do you mean a star doesn't move, but all the other what? Like, and I just didn't, I mean, it's a concept that if you are not familiar with the hobby, that you're like, ugh. So that was me. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to point my GoPro up at Polaris and see if I can understand what's happening. So, and this is just using a time lapse setting. And I was like, oh, Polaris doesn't move and it just goes around it. And so like it's a helpful tool to illustrate a very basic principle that then I was able to apply to other equipment. So, I mean, again, and this was just with the GoPro. And this is how good the lighting is, that this was from my patio in PB. It's like marine layer and light pollution city, and it still was able to get something like this. So very cool. Yeah. Okay. Then like this I just set it up while the comet was going, and it was super cool because when you're just looking at the comet, you can't tell it's moving down. But in a time lapse, it's like, oh, the comet's falling. And so let me, so you can, I don't know if you guys can see it from back there. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, oh, cool, a comet. Okay. Very cool. And then this one, I really like this. So this one, I was in at the Grand Canyon Star Party. Woo. And I just set it up. And I mean, that's how good. It's just like, it's cool to then the next day, take a look at your video and go, oh, what was the sky doing? Oh, cool. And yeah, so it's just like a fun thing to do. And like anyone can set up a GoPro. Like, thank you. Because and you can get like a tripod that it charges your GoPro, and so it can like go for all night. So it's super fun to play with. Okay. All right. The last thing. I am sure that everyone here already knows about this, but again, I'm new to the hobby. So Dennis's sister at the Grand Canyon Star Party told me about these books. And if you don't have them, and I'm all manual, I just use a Telrad to find things. I don't have a go-to. And these are amazing. So if you like to do to search the sky like an explorer and not cheat and use a go-to, if you like that, then you will love this because it has all the Messier objects and it has a map of where to find it and the Telrad marker. Exactly. I mean, it's like a treasure map. So I love it because I'm like Jose will be like, oh, have you seen, M13? And I'm like, crap, which one's M13? And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, yeah, I can get it. And and it tells you like interesting facts. And it's just a map of the sky. And you're like, oh yeah, duh. Then everything's easy to find once you have this. So I'm sure you guys already know about these, but these were like life-changing. So tell your sister thank you. Yeah, so those are my gadgets, and that's all. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go to a quiz question. This is what you get for coming late, Tom. So. Raise your hand and answer. Sticker.
All right, trivia question number 63. How much is the most recent NASA spacesuit estimated to cost?
Guesses.
250,000.
250,000. 250,000. 22. Somebody keep track of all these. Anybody else? 10,000. Anybody else? For sticker. 25 million. Yeah. You ready? 1 billion per suit. Who won? You did? I can't remember what they are. Please keep track. Get your sticker after the meeting. And on that note, if you want a sticker during the quizzes this year, please see me. I've got all the stickers. Okay. It's William. Okay. Next is Jen. Is Jen here with the sun gadget? Jen Knowles? Okay. Let's move on then to Jim with the Astro Hopper. Yeah. Yes. Let's do it. I can't see my slide, so you're last. By the way, okay.
I wanted to bring the whole telescope and my CGX mount. Oh, no. You guys are picky. I wanted to bring my whole telescope, a Coronado 90 millimeter max, Solar Max, I think it's called, and to show how this all gets put together. But that was a little too much to do here. The telescope itself, you know, the Solar Max telescope is about, what, 40, 50 pounds? I didn't want to carry that up. So you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit. Or I do have a black and white picture of it in, and I can pass that around. You can take a look of what I put together here. Now, this thing here I put together probably 15 years ago, and I am still surprised. It's still pretty good shape. This is just poster board and spray painted on both sides. But for everyone who doesn't quite see how this is going to be used, on top of a solar telescope, at the very end of the tube, think of it this way. Sun's there, and the solar pointing. What this does is it blocks the sun, so you can look through the eyepiece without being blinded. Your contrast goes up tremendously. So the white end also reflects back. Now, one of the other features of this is on every solar telescope, there's a solar finder, which is really just like glass, grounded glass. This hole on the side here, as you rotate in position, you can find the sun. Once it goes to the hole, it makes a perfect circle on the ground. So it makes things a little easy finding the scope there. And last but not least on here, and this was the tricky part. I'll turn around this way. You can imagine this goes over the tube, and this piece wraps underneath it to give you a total block. And there's a wing nut here, and it locks it in place. So stealing this design. And if you want it, I actually, first I was going to have 55 PowerPoint slides to explain this, but I thought that might be a little long. But I did bring some instructions that I almost finished writing up. Now I'll say this, this one's particular to the Coronado, because at the front of the Coronado telescope, there's like 2 rings on the outside of the tube. And so this slips right over in between those 2 rings. And this is 1/8 of an inch thick. And those two little rings, why I don't understand the manufacturer. They're there. This slips right in there perfectly. So this is great. And I can tell you, I've had this at so many eclipses on the last, like I said, for about 15 years. Everybody, likes it, because when I left it home one time, you know what's happening. The sun's up there and you're trying to look down and it's shading your eyes. It's just cool, and it's real simple, and it's only the cost of poster board. And well, that's I guess we can get a special titanium one here. But anyway, this is my little gadget. I tried, I had thought of eventually putting this in like very thin 1/8 of an inch plywood. But like I said, this is 15 years old, and it's been thrown in the car so many times. Right. Now I have made one for my Celestron 8-inch. That one's tough to build, because when you look at the tube, I on top of my tube, I have a place to put a 90 millimeter telescope on there. So there's all sorts of like indentations I have to cut out. And that one's pretty hard. So, but I did it, it works, but I'm not really too proud of it. Some of the machining of it or whittling of the wood and all with the saber saw doesn't quite work as well. But anyway, this is it. It's it's pretty easy to make, and if anyone wants it, I can, send me email, I can send you my little directions of, yeah, so I can do that.
Thank you, Jim. Gracie. Read a quiz question, please. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
You want to shake that up and pull it out there?
They're not shaking. Bothers me, no one ever gets the bottom. Do that.
All righty, here we go.
This is trivia question number 10. What percent of the Milky Way is visible from Earth? Percentage. Nope.
22.
Nope. Who said 4? Okay, nope.
Yeah. We have 10% in the Zoom. 42%.
Nope.
2%.
Nope.
5%.
Nope.
My house is none.
You would be closer. So
Half.
I hear 1.
2.5.
I hear 0.25.
1.
And we got one more, and then I'm going to give you the answer because you're just going down the road. It is 0.00003%.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Who won?
Who had the 0.25? There you go. There's our winner back there.
Sorry.
Wait a minute, Gracie.
What's the box?
I think he's close. Yeah, someone said 0.
Oh, you know that
That would be
we do have mathematicians in here. This is very true. There you
The
go.
box too. Craig with Astro Hopper. There you are. And he needs to load. So, hey, let's do another question while we're loading the program.
Other guy's closer there.
Just another question while we're setting up here. Need help, Craig? Are you good?
Got me to pull one out. Hang on.
Oh, which one do you need? Oh dear. Take some time, people. Let's see.
Can I log into a Google account?
Let me see if I can.
Can't see. If I have it in my Google Drive.
Oh, look, you're on the.
I think that's pretty wow.
All I see is my early.
All I see is my.
Yeah.
You can see the time delay. That's fine.
We see Cecil. We see Beanie and Cecil.
Does anyone know where my Polaroid landed?
This.
It's back here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. It'll see. Well, this was a. It's all right.
Make sure you check the little eyeball so we can see your password as you log in.
Yeah, I know, I was gonna say.
How do I open?
I'll take over.
That ain't mine. Like somebody else.
Hey, B, you want an astronomy joke?
Sorry?
The answer,
Astronomy
no,
joke?
the answer from.
Yeah, we're having a quiz. It's. I thought we were asking another question.
Oh, wait, right now? All right.
Well, we're ready.
All right. Okay.
Another question, you need the mic? You're on.
All right. Hello. Jose, would you like to choose a question?
Oh, Jose.
Now you get to read it, Jose.
Trivia question number 49. What spacecraft is the only one to have visited Uranus?
Boy. Make sure hearing. Boyd.
It's either Voyager 1 or. You want the answer now?
You already picked one. Other guesses?
What are the guesses?
Voyager 1, Voyager 2.
2.
Anybody else?
3.
3.
And a New Horizons over here.
We have the right answer in the group. Right answer?
Questions.
2.
Missed it by that.
People, are we ready to go, Craig?
Ready.
Okay.
Boy, Craig.
You need a mic.
I need the microphone.
Oh, my mic.
We got it.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Craig Storms. I joined the club about 2 years ago because my daughter's going to NAU at Northern Arizona University as an astronomy major, and I wanted to learn what she was doing. So I was like, how do I start? I got to get a telescope, and I was looking at all these different telescopes, and mostly Dobsonian is what I wanted. And I was looking at a Celestron with their nice little star sense, but then I came across AstroHopper. Now, AstroHopper is just a web-based. It's free. You go to the website. If you have an Android, you put it on the Android, and it works. All you need is Velcro, and stick it, just like it shows here. Stick it there, and you're done. So what can you do with AstroHopper? Well, you can navigate the night sky with this free app. It's like invisible setting circles. I saw setting circles, all the things you have to do to get them printed and get them put on and inclinometers. Well, here you got this. And unlike StarSense, no plate solving. You don't have to wait for all the stars to come out for you to find other things. When Vega comes out, I can align on Vega, and then I can find something else before it's even visible. So AstroHopper was, it's free, it's open source, it's a web-based application. There was this gentleman in Israel that made this. And again, you can find deep sky, you can find stars. It's essentially digital setting circles, but it's all on a smartphone. So how do you use it? It's a web-based. We have this web app here. I could actually start it here, use it from a computer. This is the operating manual. Attach it to a telescope. Again, I use Velcro, don't use magnets. Magnets don't work good with compasses. Take it, find a star, any star, and say align. Then from that, you can find stars, planets, deep sky objects, not absolutely every object, but you can find a lot. This is what, this screen I think is really cool because in this screen, I can have filters. I can set filters for stars and what magnitude they are. I know here in San Diego on my 10-inch Dobsonian, it has to be magnitude 6 or above, brighter, or I can't find anything. So I set this. Deep sky objects I can set. I love setting lists. So I do this. I go, here's my KQ Ranch list. Here's my Oak Oasis list. Here's where I go to the school list. And essentially you're setting your watch list so that you don't have to search for everything individually. And again, you can change the font size. And you see lots of different things you can check in here. It even has a Wikipedia. You can click on it. If you're connected to the web, it'll go to Wikipedia and tell you about that object. This is what it looks like after you get past the first screen. You can set your field here. You can navigate. As you can see, I set up the owl cluster. And I apparently did an alignment here on this star Thuban, and it's telling me which way to go to get to the owl cluster. So I love setting the watch list. Again, you set up the watch list. It allows you to program what you want to see that night. And you can name several lists. So this is how you set up a list. You can call a list clusters. You can put M4, M6, NGC. Or if you put parentheses, you can then have it display the name of that cluster. So people, they think my telescope is so cool. They're like, you got a computer in your telescope. And the other thing they think is cool, besides the green laser pointers we have, is that I can take this off. How did you do that? So you can set up a lot. Here's like an example of how you would set up clusters. Here's an example if you wanted to say, I want to look for double stars tonight, and you can put in these double stars. Now, this is something new that I just learned, and I will have to practice this. If the object is not in the library, you can set the right ascension, the declination, and you can find it. And here's an example of how you set it up to find the object if it's not in the list. So in all, I really love this app. It gets me all around the sky, and it's got me ahead of my daughter, the astronomy major. So that is very important. but she can navigate through the sky. I can just point at stars. Yes, sir.
I don't remember. I remember, seeing this when you're being out with you. But do you have to have internet while you're out there, or you load it ahead of time and then go? Or because it's not an app. It's not an app.
It actually can be installed.
It can be installed on Android, and it can be installed on Android. And I have an Android. There are some instructions for how to do this on an iPhone. Just got to go to that manual page. But here you can see I got Cassiopeia. I can click on that star. I can align, and it does I got click on the star. It does a little countdown timer, and then it says aligned. And then if I want, I can go to the double cluster, and it points me in that direction of that double cluster. If I had a search in here, I could type in M31, and it'll tell me how to get down here. And
then it updates for comets and stuff like that.
I haven't seen anything for comets, but you could put in those coordinates and get to it. So yeah, when we were out there at Oak Oasis, I didn't know about this until just recently. I was reading the manual prepping for tonight, and I was like, wow, this is cool. You could actually put in this, and you don't need to print out setting circles. You don't need to get an inclinometer. You can just run this. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to get an idea of the accuracy of this, with the 10-inch DOP, I'm guessing it's an F5. What eyepiece do you usually use to acquire these?
So I have Jose here got me turned on to a Panoptic 35, and it is beautiful for getting that object there. Then I usually switch to my Batter 12.5 to get me zoomed in.
Okay, so it's a pretty wide eyepiece, but it's always there in that wide eyepiece.
It's there. Yeah, now a couple other things you can do is you can star hop. So it just like astro hopper. So if once you're here on this star, but you want to get a little bit better, you can click align and then select another star that's closer to the object that you want. The timer counts down, and now you're aligned on this star, so you can get closer to that next object. And then it tells you can see how far you have to move left, right, up, down. Put it on any telescope, and you can get where you need to go. Mr. Dennis.
Greg, tell them about your daughter, what's going to happen to her in June.
So my daughter is a senior now at NAU. She's in the Air Force ROTC, and she will be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Space Force coming up here in May. Well, thank you very much. Anybody ever wants to see this, I love showing it, so it's a blast.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Craig. Kin Circe, Pegasus is next, but let's do another quiz question, Kurt.
All right.
Trivia question number 50. What was the name of the first female commander of the International Space Station?
Whiting. Whiting?
Sony.
Also no.
Sony.
Not McCullough either.
First one.
I have to admit, I did not recognize the name.
We know you.
It's Peggy Whitson.
Peggy Whitson.
I was close. I was close.
Our favorite.
You cheated? I can't believe that. Oh, man, y'all to take away his phone.
Did somebody win? Oh.
That was a hard one.
Siri. Thank you.
I asked you.
I don't know that you established rules.
Okay, I've got two gadgets actually. The first gadget, imaging rig setup. Too many cables, too many bricks. Ed thinks I'm an idiot, but I bought, and you're going to need a powered hub to move the data around. Otherwise it's going to drop sync, and they're not all equal. So, but you can buy, if you don't have a computer latched to the side of your telescope like a Nook or ASI Air or something, you can buy this little Pegasus box for about $200, and it'll take a 10 amp, 12 volt input. So Hero showed me how you can get a Bluetti battery, plug the Bluetti into here, plug the AC into the power at TDS, and you've got an UPS. So you don't have to worry about fluctuations in the TDS power, but it's got a powered hub built in. It's got power outlets, so you can power your camera, your telescope, and it's got controllable voltage outputs for dew heaters if you want to run everything through. So that's one thing. Now it would connect to another luxury item, and we all know we have to take flats. Now, if you've got somebody who sews in your family, you can make one of these, you know, with those little, what do you call this?
Embroidery hoop.
Embroidery hoop. Okay, so you can make an embroidery hoop, stretch it tight, and put it over the bow of your telescope and hold a flashlight. And that works really well, or you can do sky flats. But actually, you can buy this for a couple $100. And
How much in?
and you're not getting it at the raffle. Now, okay, now watch it not work.
Turn that red light. You have to.
Yeah, I know. I've got it. There it goes. Turn the red light off. So here it is. It's clickable. They're different. It's clickable. It's clickable. Or you can control the intensity with software. So the same software, the universal Pegasus software that controls this, controls its output, and it also has a little dongle that came with it that will measure the outside temperature. You can control all of that from the software, and you can control the light output of this with the same software, and you can save the settings once you get a good histogram. So luxury items, but they're really nice, and I'm about to try it, this particular item, this coming Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you, Ken. Dorothy, can you go next? After the quiz. Who can read a quiz question? When do you guys want to read a quiz question?
Trivia question number 50. What was the name of the, we did this one already. That was the last one. Trivia question number 37. What definition of a planet has Pluto failed to meet?
Clear its orbit. Clear its orbit.
This area.
Who was it that said that first? It was on my row. Somebody on this row said cleared its orbit.
Clear its path.
Said that already.
And that is the correct answer. Yep.
You done? A lot of people get
I'm gonna stick it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is a sun spotter.
Microphone.
This is called a sun spotter. It's a safer solar telescope. And what it does, it projects the sun onto a paper. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but maybe you can. See that?
Sideways.
Hmm?
The camera put it there, so. There you go.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Now I can see.
But to align it, you've got this little stud up here. So you move your sun around till it lines and then it goes in the window. And you can see it with the sunspots and all that. And I've modified this one slightly and have put a tripod mount on it. So they can actually mount on a tripod and guide. But you can use it on its mount. I just don't have enough hands. And it works really good for outreach. Not much good for anything else, but outreach it works.
You know, the images on that thing, are
Pardon?
the images from that,
Well, I don't know how you would because it projects on the paper.
the visuals out of it.
Yeah, it's strictly visual. And it projects the sun and the sunspots on the paper here. It goes through this lens up here to the top and projects down onto the paper, which is really nice for people to come by and see it. But I found that you need to cover one side. That helps a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, darken it out slightly. I've had it about 4 years now.
Had it about 15 years.
Well, whatever. I don't know if they're still available or not, but at the time I bought it, it was like $350.
Still available.
About the same price.
Yes, on Amazon. They're 400, 800. And the great thing is kids draw the outline of what they see. And so they've got something, they can take it away.
A piece of paper, they can
A
take.
piece of paper, yeah.
Yeah, they can, the paper is,
Don't break it.
so then it has its own little mount too, but then you got to keep moving it. And that's no fun. Put it on a tripod. But you have to put an adapter. It doesn't come with an adapter for the tripod.
Yeah.
Any questions? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Nicely done. Very nicely done.
Seen the total eclipse of the sun through that. It's kind of cool too.
Oh, yeah. And it's safe because they're not going to hurt their eyes or anything else if they look at the sun. So any questions? And it's great for outreach.
Thanks, AC. Round of applause. Hey, guys, I can't see my slide. I have Dave Wood left and Paul. Am I missing anybody else? I know I've got somebody up who's sick and not here, but is that it? I'm not missing any more gadgets, right? Okay, let's pick on our president. Please read the first question, Mr. President.
Wait a minute. I gotta fix it for you.
Dave, you want to go?
Okay.
Oh.
He's trying to find his glasses.
There we go. Okay. Okay, trivia question number 27. Which is the only planet in our solar system not named after a god?
Earth. That was too easy.
I'm gonna guess Mars.
Very good.
I was just gonna be filling it. Hold on, a whole bunch of stuff.
Just a guess.
Oh, yeah?
Nope. Got Dave and me.
Oh, once there. He's. You.
Yeah,
Dave, what is next? Let's read another quiz question. Cindy, what? Will you read another quiz question?
More quiz questions.
Get set up. We're stalling it. Yes.
Okay, all right.
We're doing good.
Trivia question number 45. What sort of museum would you go to see projections of the night sky?
Planetarium.
Planetarium. These are too easy. Okay, wait a minute. Let's find a hard one. Dig down, you get a good one here.
I like it when they're too easy.
Let's see. Okay, question 62. How many humans have been on the moon?
Another one?
Well, that's so easy. Yeah, come on.
Yep.
He's digging for a hard one.
Which planet has the most volcanoes?
Venus.
No.
He said Venus.
Venus? Venus is correct.
Oh, nice.
What?
Dave, how much longer do you need? Okay, another question.
I'm taking this.
Okay, good.
You can read that one?
No, you're gonna read it. I'm gonna hold it.
Question 42. In what year did Pluto become reclassified as a dwarf planet?
2008.
That's a good one.
What did I hear? 08? No.
09.
2004.
2010.
1999.
2019? Oh, 10? No, not 10.
1951.
No.
Dwarf planet.
2018.
No.
Reclassified as a dwarf planet.
Oh, 2002.
No.
No.
Got everyone but the right.
1998.
99. 2000.
Yeah, you're working on it.
03.
What's the only one you haven't said?
I can't remember. I haven't heard 2005.
Close.
2004. Oh, 6.
2006.
Yes.
That's close. 2008. Didn't want to show off.
I think you need more questions.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Question 17. What tool is used to detect distant galaxies? What tool is used to detect distant galaxies?
Yardstick.
Rick,
Tell us.
Tool. Sorry.
Seafed stars.
Yeah, this is kind of a bum question because we can use lots of tools. They're asking for the James Webb, but obviously they all were used to detect distant galaxies. So
We don't want to see that one again.
The galaxy fancy was.
okay, excuse me.
okay, we're killing a little bit of time here, right? So I wanted to say that I can't show as much excitement as Mike does. When Mike is talking about, about the banquet and things like that, he's truly excited and so forth. But I have to tell you, I'm excited about tonight because in the time that I've been on with this club since 2009, this is the first time that I know of that we've had a really true, honest to God election. And I am so proud that we have members that are stepping up to take this position, and they're serious about it. They're interested. We have 13 candidates for 7 positions, I think.
Yes.
13 candidates for 7 positions. To me, that's phenomenal that we have that kind of membership engagement and interest in what the club is doing. Thank you very much. And those of you that are on the Zoom call as well, because now we have a real election. People can vote. They can kick this stuff around, and we can give real direction to the club as we move forward. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. How we doing, guys?
He's gonna try. I'm gonna go.
Oh, you're gonna go. Okay.
Share.
For years.
Share desktop.
Maybe you want an astronomy joke?
Yes, astronomy joke from our fearless.
Oh, no.
Dennis.
Dennis astronomy joke.
Okay.
A photon walks into a bar and says, "Bartender, a drink, please." And the bartender gives the photon a drink. And the bartender says, "You want to make that a double?"
And he says, no.
And the bartender says, I'm traveling light.
Another sticker.
Why doesn't the son go to college?
Because it has 1,000,000 degrees.
All right. Okay, so while Dave is working on some technical support here, I wanted to talk about the Loner Telescope and Equipment Program. You might remember this. I actually brought this up at the Gadget Night last year. It has changed quite a bit. I don't know the last time you might have looked at this website. This is on the SDAA.org webpage, and you go under members, under Loner Scopes and Accessories to see what we've got. The Loner program is, I believe by my last estimate, about 4 times larger than it was last year. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we continue to get donations, as we have our nice, fun, rich uncle who can get us additional accessories. And I just wanted to quickly go through the equipment that we have now, because you may be surprised at the scale and scope and quality of the equipment you can get now through the Loner program. You can rent, you don't have to pay. Just by being a member of the club, you can get any of this equipment. You can take it home, use it for 3 months, and bring it back. That's it. That's the only requirement, is that you be a upstanding member of the club, a fully contributing member. So let's start with what we have in the visual telescopes. So we have a wide collection of visual telescopes, Dobsonians. Look at this. We have a 16-inch Meade Lightbridge telescope. If you've wondered if it's worth spending that extra money to get that giant light bucket, you can just take ours. Go take it. It's a truss tube Dobsonian. It breaks down. I'm not going to say it's going to fit in the back of your Corolla, but it will fit in, in a SUV or a minivan where you've got some extra room. But it's actually a very nice telescope. It's got a brand new secondary mirror on it. It's got a really, really nice dual speed Crayford focuser. I put a custom altitude brake on it so that even with a heavy eyepiece, it doesn't want to fall down. And it's a really nice telescope. And you can see one of our members here, Mimo, for scale, to give you some idea of how big that telescope is. But you can take this. It's part of the Loner program. We have a 12-inch Skywatcher that's a go-to telescope. So you can actually set this down. It's got encoders on it and a hand box, and you can, once you get it aligned to a couple stars, you just tell it to go to any object and just motors around the sky, tracks it across the sky. We've got a couple 10-inch telescopes, your standard kind of Orion, Celestron, Skywatcher, Zoomel, whatever, 10-inch sphere. We've got 3 8-inch Dobsonians of this basically same model, Orion, Zoomel, the Cinta or GSO brand. And then we've got 1 8-inch that's got an 1.25 focuser that's built like a tank. You can just basically throw that in your trunk and drive out into the desert and you're not going to destroy it. This one's great for people that have kids that want to learn how to use a telescope, because you're not going to have to worry about anything sensitive on it. It's a very durable telescope. And we have a 5-inch One Sky telescope, which is a tiny little thing fixed in a backpack. It pops out. It's got extendable truss tubes. And so if you want a really portable telescope to maybe take on a trip, you can loan this one out. We've also got go-to telescopes on fork mounts. So we've got a couple LX90s now. We used to just have 1. We got a second one donated, so now we have 2. We've also got this extremely nice Meade SCT that's on an Ioptron Mini Tower Pro mount that's got encoders, very, very high resolution, accurate tracking. And this one, SDAA 36, actually comes with a camera. It comes with a Celestron or some sort of a planetary camera that you can hook up to your computer and do planetary photography with that setup. And we have a dual fork 8-inch CPC 800 that was recently donated. So that one is currently out, but is a very nice telescope. It came in a beautiful hard shell case. You can take that with you as well. We've also got astrophotography equipment now. So if you are interested in doing astrophotography but haven't gotten started before, As Priscilla was mentioning, we've got this really nice Ioptron Sky Guider that you can stick your DSLR or your point and shoot or your GoPro on top of, and it will track the sky in just one axis. That's all it is. It's just, it does right ascension, that's all. But it's a really great way, if you've never done sort of astrophotography before, to get used to the idea of polar alignment and how the sky moves and how you can kind of get used to taking photographs with a very wide field, like a 30 millimeter or 50 millimeter lens. We can also loan you a equatorial mount. We can get you a CG5 mount, which was donated to the club, and it's got counterweights, tripod, the mount head. It's got a Sky-Fi module. It's got everything you need to get up and running if you want to go up from that Ioptron mount and actually mount something like a heavier telescope or something like that. And if you want to get really advanced, go talk to Priscilla. She's got this one right now. SDAA 32 is an 8-inch astrograph on a Meade LX75 equatorial mount with a 60 millimeter guide scope and a Lodestar X2 guide camera and a Canon EOS DSLR you can put in the eyepiece holder, and all of the counterweights and accessories and intervalometer and cables and everything you need to actually take astrophotos. So all that just right out of the box. We've got a Selectron NextYZ. If you've already got a telescope, maybe you just want to try shooting through your eyepiece, you can hook this guy up to your eyepiece and then put your cell phone on it. It's got knobs you can adjust to get your cell phone positioned over. We can get you a set of T-rings. So if you already have a DSLR and you just want to hook it up to your telescope, we can get you either a Canon or a Nikon F T-ring with an 1.25" adapter to plug into that. We've also got astro cameras. We have this really, really nice S-Big color camera. This is a one-shot color camera that is a full-on research grade CCD one-shot color with a Bayer matrix camera. And I've written a guide for how to actually connect this camera. It's an older camera, but it's really, really nice. And you can actually still hook it up using ASCOM to any modern computer. I've done this with all these cameras. We've also got 2 of the even more research grade cameras. We've got S-Big ST10 XME, which Dave Wood has, every time this comes up, he drools a little bit because the sensor on this thing has 96% quantum efficiency, and it's a mono sensor. This sensor is so sensitive for being such an old camera. It's USB 1, like it's an old camera. I'm not going to pretend that it can necessarily outpace some of the newest stuff, but that 96% quantum efficiency, you're not going to get that in any modern camera. Like 60, 70%, maybe 80% in modern cameras, 96%, forget it. So you can take that camera for 3 months. It's like a $10,000 camera when it was new, and you can just go take this. It was donated to the club. We've also got, and it's got an attached 10-position filter wheel that includes your RGB filters and O3 and sodium 2 or sulfur 2 and a green continuum filter. So if you want to do things like photometry, you can actually do that with this camera. There's also this camera, which is a similar camera, but it's a mono CCD that has about 50% quantum efficiency. It's not quite as good, but it also has a filter wheel with your LGB R filters. And both of those cameras can accept an external guide camera, but they also have internal guiding. Both of those cameras have an internal chip, so you don't need a guide camera. You don't need to do off-axis guiding. It's actually got the sensor, and then the guide chip is right above it, and so you actually get both your guiding and your imaging CCD are on the same plane right at your focal plane. I'm going to try to go quick here because there's so much to talk about. We can get you filters. We had a set of Astronomic EOS APS-C clip-in filters donated to the club. These are sulfur 2, CLS, and UHC, and H-beta. So we've got 4 of these. They clip, if you have one of these cameras, so if you have basically an APS-C Canon camera that has the EOS mount, you can actually clip these right behind the lens. They clip, these are designed to clip right in there, and then stick it on that Ioptron mount, for example, and take deep sky photos with that. We've also got a CLS filter that's got T2 thread. So if you take, for example, one of these other cameras and want to add a light pollution filter, that threads onto a T thread, so you can take that. We've got eyepiece kits now. In fact, we have a lot of eyepiece kits. We were recently added to the club a set of Astrotech hyper wide and ultra wide. So these are your 100-degree, 82-degree. I've looked through these. These are brand new. We bought these new. These are not donated. And they look fantastic. It's if you've looked through a Baader Hyperion, there's that very bright white. You don't get any color cast. These Astrotechs do the same thing. I would actually put these right up next to an Ethos or a Nagler. Obviously not as good, but they are right up there. These are really, really nice eyepieces. If you're ever interested in like, should I spend the money on getting a 100-degree? Do I like 100-degree versus 82-degree? You can loan these out and you can try it out for 3 months. We've got a set of Baader Hyperions, both with the aspheric with the 72-degree and the standards with the 68-degree field of view. We've got a set of Agena Starguiders, which are very nice budget eyepieces. So if you ever wondered, I'd like to get, upgrade from my Plossels, but I don't want to spend the money on a set of Baader Hyperions or these Naglers or something. I've heard the Agena Starguiders. They're also known as the Astrotech Paradigm. Maybe you're interested in getting those eyepieces and you don't want to spend the money before you've tried them. You can loan this out for 3 months and see if you like them before you buy them. We've got a set of Explore Scientific 70-degree eyepieces, the full set, all the way from 10 millimeter all the way up to 35 millimeter, both 1.25" and 2". And I'm not going to go through each one of these, but these below this line are all donated eyepieces that I've meticulously gone through and assembled into kits where they're matching sets. So each one has a full range of focal lengths from, planetary up to wide field. And you can see there's a set of mixed at. And if you look at some of these names here, we got some really nice eyepieces that have been donated over time. We've got, some Celestron Plossel sets. You get down here to the bottom, you get into kind of the more standard stuff, bunch of Plossels and stuff. But you can see how many eyepiece sets we now have, and these can all be loaned out independently of whether or not you're getting a telescope. We've also got solar telescopes. We've got 2 Coronado PSTs that have been donated to the club. Both of them have, one of them's got a tripod mount, like an 1.25". The other one's got a Vixen dovetail. So depending on what you want to mount it on, you can set that up. I've also got, it's not listed on here, but there's a manual Orion AstroView mount that you can put that on, or we can put that on that Ioptron Skyguider, or you can put that on that CG5, or you can put that on your own mount, or you can put that on your own photo tripod. You have lots of options. We have one battery box, but it's currently on permanent loan to one of our members, so you can't get that right now, but it is in the inventory. We've got a solar filter, a white light filter that goes on our 8-inch telescopes. We have visual filters. We've got an UHC LPR filter in a 2-inch format, and we have an ultra block filter, which is your narrow filter that does O3 and H beta. And we have a 2-inch 2X Barlow. So you might already have an 1.25" Barlow, and you maybe have a 2-inch eyepiece and you'd like to see if it's worth getting a 2-inch Barlow. You can loan one of ours out and you get yourself a 2-inch Barlow. We also have 3 very nice aluminum high-end laser collimation tools. So again, if you maybe just have a collimation cap today, maybe you didn't feel like spending the extra money on buying a laser one, you can loan one of ours out for a few weeks and try it out. You can always check on the website. This is a live view of all the inventory. So as I check things in and out of inventory, it shows up in or out on this page, and it shows you when they were checked out and when they're due back. Now, if it says it's due back, that doesn't mean that it will be back inventory on that day. It just means that's the day it's due back. It depends on me communicating with the lessee to make sure that they drop it off. I will note also that all of this inventory used to be stored in the Connex box at TDS, which meant that if you were going to pick up any of this equipment, you'd have to drive all the way out to TDS. We'd have to coordinate. The weather would have to be good. The stars would literally have to align. It'd have to be a new moon night, all that stuff for you to pick something up or drop it back off. It made a lot of friction. Now we actually have a storage unit on Miramar Road. So it's central to most people. If you live downtown, North County, pretty much everyone can get to that Miramar area. It's great for me because it's like 3 minutes from my house. And all of this equipment's now there, which means we can do loaner exchanges any day of the week, day or night. Doesn't have to be at TDS, doesn't have to be good weather. So getting equipment to or from you is a lot easier than it has ever been. So that's it. We're talking about gadgets. We've got a beautiful collection of gadgets, and it's constantly growing as we continue to get donations. If you have ideas for something you'd like to see in the loaner program, shoot me an email, loanerscopes@sdaa.org. We have a rich uncle now, so it's possible that if we can make a justified case for it, and we think we can get enough people to loan this stuff out and forward the cause, our charter, that we can get the foundation to pay for additional equipment. I'm thinking maybe some Astro cameras, that kind of stuff, that maybe you try before you buy. That's the biggest thing right now, is that there's a lot of great equipment out there. People often just don't want to dive in and spend $3,000 on a mount if they don't know if they're going to like it. So we might be able to buy some of those examples that are very popular and then loan those out so that people can try before they buy. Any questions? Yep.
Is this on the website where you can see what's available in now?
Yep, that's just at the bottom of the page. So if you go to the Loaner Scope stuff, it's just under here, under members, Loaner Scopes and accessories, and just scroll to the bottom, and it's a live update from the spreadsheet. You had a question?
Yeah, just one thing at a time. Check out one.
Yes. Well,
or does it?
We can combine stuff.
And it came with a thing of eyepiece.
That's right.
All the scopes come with a little box of eyepieces.
Yeah. So the question is, do the telescopes come with eyepieces? Can you run out multiple things at a time? And the answer is yes. So if you already have eyepieces and you're just maybe wanting to try out a larger telescope, maybe you'll just take a telescope. If you don't have eyepieces and you're new to the hobby, I can get you a telescope and a box of eyepieces with it. If you're new to astrophotography, I might set you up with, or maybe you say you want to do solar observing, I can get you, a telescope and a white light solar filter and a box of eyepieces. So I can get you set up with exactly with what you need. It doesn't have to be one item at a time. I will say though, it's one telescope at a time. Those are the, most limited items. Like I'm not going to let you take all 3 of our S-Big cameras with you. You can take one. But that's basically it. Any other questions? Mm-hmm.
What happens if the equipment is accidentally damaged?
So the question was, what about damaged equipment? So the official loaner policy is that members taking equipment, they are financially responsible for the equipment. Now, most of this stuff was donated. So if it does get damaged, it's not like each item has an inventory that says it was worth this much and you're now on the hook for this. But it does mean that if that happens, and it has happened before under my watch, I take it to the board discusses what we do, either nothing, or we think we should charge you this much, or how much is it going to cost to replace that item, and then we'll get back to you, and then we'll take that out of your dues or whatever to recover those funds. All right. Okay. I'll finish up with my gadget because that was, let me stop sharing here so people can see the camera. And I showed this at the Gadget night last year, but by popular demand, it's back. So this is my astronomy field case. I built it myself. I used loosely based on some designs I found on the internet. What's nice about this field case is the sides slide out. So you can see these are not on, these actually slide all the way out in dados. So this just comes right out like that. So if I want to just take my 1 1/4 eyepieces somewhere, I can just pull those out and not have to take the whole case with me. The other side over here does the same thing. And then that makes a little bit of storage space underneath each side. All the eyepieces are actually just held in holes. You can't see it from sitting down here, but there's 1 1/4 holes for the 1 1/4 eyepieces. And so they just drop in, and I only need to keep the top caps on to keep the dust out. The bottom caps can stay off. And that means I can keep labels on top of everything that show which eyepiece is which. And also kind of, since each eyepiece has a home, I can find it by feel. I don't really need to, dig around in a box or like unwrap an eyepiece out of foam or something. I can just reach down and I know exactly this is where my 30mm eyepiece is, for example. This is where I keep my Telrad. So my telescope doesn't have, it's just got a Telrad on it. And you can see it's a little bit shorter. This is not a normal size Telrad. I use a Portaball, which is very sensitive to the amount of weight that you put up at the front, because otherwise you lose your balance. And so I was able to save a few precious ounces actually by taking the Telrad and cutting about 2 inches of its length out. And I replaced the AA batteries with a coin cell battery and then added a 12-volt jack so that it plugs into the telescope's battery so that I can save just that little bit of weight from the batteries. And it works. It makes everything balance, and I can use a nice big Telrad instead of a Rigel, which is what normally comes with a portable telescope. I've got anti-vibration pads here Inside this envelope is actually some red film I can put over my phone. I've got, pens, pencils, tissues. I've got a hex wrench here that I can use for either adjusting my collimation on the secondary. I've got, hand heaters in here. I've got tools. So really everything that I need to do observing is all right here in this box. And so when I prepare to come out to TDS, I put the telescope in the car, I put this in the car, and I'm done. There's no boxing up a bunch of stuff, no finding cables. Oh, did I forget this? Did I remember that? Did I remember my pen? Did I remember my charts? It's all there. The only other thing I want to show off, because Jose just is so enamored by this thing, is my linear bino viewer. So I showed this off last year as well. This just looks like probably a normal bino viewer. But what's cool about these, there's one company, it's a Chinese company that makes these, but they're sold under several different brands, as most Chinese stuff is. So Omegon, Longpeng, I think, is the Chinese company that makes it, but Celestron sells these, and Orion used to before they went out of business. But the idea behind this is, if you can come look at these later, there's a lens in the front, and there's lenses under each eyepiece, and they're actually relay lenses. So as you plug this into your focuser, your focal plane is right here, and that actually relays the focal plane up to here. What that means is this is a 0 glass path length bino viewer. You can use this in any telescope. If an eyepiece comes to focus, that same eyepiece in the bino viewer will come to focus at the same position of your focuser, because this adds 0 back focus to your focal. Now, it does do some weird stuff. You've got extra lenses in here. You get some internal reflections. It's not necessarily as good of an image as you're going to get like with the Beta Max Bright or something like that. But I tell you what, it's really, really nice. It's so nice to have my, Portaball or any Newtonian for that matter that you normally can't use a bino viewer, or if you can, it's got to have an oversized secondary and shorten the tube, the truss tubes. There's all sorts of weird stuff. Just plug this in. You plug this in, you're bino viewing instantly. There's no extra thing to do, and it's not that expensive. I think this is $300. So it's a very cool accessory. The only other thing I'll mention about this, I know we're over time, is that
we're okay.
Is that instead of most bino viewers that use a prism inside to they actually split the image, which means you get the entrance pupil. The entrance pupil comes in, and then that same entrance pupil is just mirrored out both eyepieces. So both eyes are getting an exact copy of the same pupil that the telescope sees. This one uses a split mirror. So the entrance pupil comes in, half the entrance pupil goes to one eye, half the entrance pupil goes to the other eye. So it's a little bit different. It's still the same amount of light because you get the same entrance pupil coming in, but one eye is literally looking through half of the primary mirror and the other eye is looking at the other half of the primary mirror. That sounds like, why on earth would you care about that? But the reason is, when you're doing planetary observation, what that means is your two eyes are actually looking through two different columns of air. So in addition to your brain already being really good at taking two images that are the same and enhancing them because both eyes are being put together and you got more neurons working on the process, if you actually have the images slightly different because they're looking through different columns of air, your brain actually does something similar to lucky imaging. It will actually integrate those two images. I can see Saturn, Jupiter, Mars definitely sharper in that bino viewer than I can in a William Optics bino viewer, where you get the same pupil in both eyes. And I've checked time and time again. I thought it was like a mirage, but it actually is a better image. You can, if you really sit there and concentrate, your brain, it starts coming into focus right before your eyes. It's crazy. So that's my set of gadgets here.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks. How we doing, Dave? You ready? Yep. Where's the quiz box?
Here.
Who wants to ask a question? Anybody?
In what year? Oh, this is question 42. In what year did Pluto become reclassified? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute.
The answer is
now this is different, right? Question number 11. How many stars are in the Milky Way?
Billions and billions.
350 billion.
Oh, not yet. They're dancing around it or underneath it or below it or.
Anybody close?
425 billion.
300 billion.
100 billion. So I don't know if that's.
That's wrong. It's 2004.
Okay.
Full question is.
Take it away, Dave.
All right, so this isn't a gadget like Paul has, which is hundreds of dollars and funny old things. This is a gadget of desperation. Okay? How many people know what that is? Batten off mask, absolutely. My problem is about 10 or 12 years ago, I showed up at nightfall. Guess what I didn't have in my setup? That batten off mask. Crap. Already set up, telescopes all set up, campers all set up. Ah, crap. Where am I going to go? If any of you have been to Borrego Springs and Nightfall, you will know that there is a True Value hardware store out there that is amazing.
It's a fabulous hardware.
It's a fabulous hardware store, yes. And because of that, you'll find anything. Okay? So take the measurements, take this, take my scope cover. I have a 12-inch Meade. What the hell am I going to get? I decided to make a triangle Hartmann mask. And yes, that's exactly the fit that goes inside of a 12-inch Meade. Dave, go ahead and shut that down. How does it work? Arrow down there, Dave. Move the cursor on top of it, arrow down.
Who's driving this?
Wheel or
Where's there it is.
down.
So click, do something, click on it, arrow down.
Up.
Uh-oh.
We see it.
Should be the next slide. Just use the arrow, Dave, just the hard arrows.
Arrow key down.
Yeah, the keyboard.
Or there.
Yep. Boom. Okay, keep going again. So there's the batten off. There's my, take the next one. Okay, yes. So before we go to the next one, I had, yes, it is a $3 gadget from the hardware store. Yes, it is the bottom of a planter box. The triangles were sized up because I needed equilateral triangles. I used the case for a set of sunglasses as my measurement tool. I had a couple of hacks as far as trying to figure out how to cut that out of the plastic. How well did it work? Next slide. Started to work pretty well. So if you look here, funny, there's 3 triangles. Next slide, Dave. Starts to get a little bit better. Again, cheesy little piece of plastic stuffed in the top of my 12-inch Meade. Next. Hey, start to come into focus. And finally, click in focus. In fact, those are the pictures that I took just trying to screw around and make sure the thing would work. So yes, using a Hartmann mask with 3 little triangles cut in it out of plastic allows you to focus very nicely. Like I said, a mask out of desperation, $3. Gadget. Thanks.
So those triangles have to be exactly equidistant?
They do
from each
not.
other,
Well,
or what?
the answer is yes, they got to be close. Is it equal distance? Hell no. I mean, it's not very accurate, but it worked very well. Yes.
What did you cut it with?
I have a hacksaw and a very small drill. So I actually used the drill to go into center, and then I used a coping saw blade to cut that. I had my camper there, so I had, if you will, basic cutting tools that you would murder up an RV with. So, and oh, by the way, for the past 12 years, it's been sitting underneath the plant as a flower box holder because, of course, it drains water very well.
Thank you, Dave. Round of applause for Dave. That closes out Gadget Night, everybody. Thank you, Dave. And we hope to see you all at the banquet again, January 11th. Thank you, everybody. We still have some time to hang out if you guys want to visit, and got about 10 minutes for the room.
Yeah.